Hey guys, today I'm going to walk through how to set up your $1 million plus ops system for your business. This is that first project management or task management software that's going to help you scale and grow your business into that $1 million plus business plan vision that you have for the future. The reason this is so important and integral to your business is that this is going to be the hub for communications and how you operate. This is going to help your team be clear on the expectations that you have for their role. This is going to help you to be able to monitor whether or not your team is actually performing without having to micromanage and ask a million questions. This is a place that you're going to take all that stuff that's going on inside of your brain and park it until you're ready to move forward into the future. So this is the thing that's going to organize you, that's going to organize your team, and it's going to really propel forward your business to that vision that you have for the future. So sit tight. We're going to walk through step by step how to set this up today so that you can scale forward past that $1 million plus point for the vision that you have for the future. So just what does a system like this do for you? Well, first, it's going to give you and your team clarity. Everyone is going to know where they need to go in order to think, to plan, to get ahead, to lead. They're going to start acting more proactively rather than reactively. And they're going to know what the expectations are from you on what performance looks like. Second, it's going to give you and the team a lot of structure. It's going to give you a repeatable workflow that you can follow both now and in the future so that you can continue to grow. It's going to help you, again, start to act more proactively and stop living in that reactive space that burns you out and really brings up a lot of questions for your team. It's going to create greater scalability as you move forward into the future. You're going to set up some project service templates that you're going to be able to easily use as you start to onboard new clients. And it's going to create that consistent client delivery that is going to help you develop out that $1 million plus client experience that really separates you or really differentiates you in the marketplace. It's going to also help with delegation. Look, this is going to be the place that you're going to be able to outline what it is that you do in every single task that you perform for your business so that you can easily delegate it to a VA, a CSM, or those other key roles as you hire for the future. And finally, it's going to give you direct visibility into what it is that your team is doing. At any point, you can log into this system and see if your team is past due on any tasks and why. It's going to help you with that piece where you feel like you need a micromanager or you don't know what's going on their side of the board. So this is going to give you direct visibility into what it is that they're doing. So what's inside this very first $1 million plus ops system that you're setting up? First, you're going to get a CEO headquarters. You're going to have an integrator headquarters if that's something that applies to you at this stage of your business. You're going to have a VA ops board. Again, that's probably one of the very first hires that you're going to make. And so this is their place that they're going to operate from. You're going to have client delivery templates set up so that you can easily duplicate those every single time that you sign a new client in any of your productized service tiers. You're going to have a social media content management board. You can add a client experience board. You can add a YouTube strategist board. Where you take this into the future is really dependent upon the type of business that you have and the operations that are important to you at this point in stage in your business. So why does this operating system work? Well, look, this system is not about complexity. It's about creating clarity and repeatability at this stage and juncture of where your business is at right now. So every single project, everything that we're adding, it's got a very clearly defined purpose for where you're at right now. And it's going to grow with you and help you grow into the future. And everything is going to connect back to your $1 million plus destinations. So your vision, your ideal role, your client experience, your metrics, the money model, and the productized service tiers that you set up. It's going to make sure that your business stays well organized and well connected to those destinations that you have set for the future. So one of the most important things that you're going to do is set up a project management or a task management software within your business. Now, the platform that you choose, I do recommend Asana to most people when they're starting out because it's super intuitive to use. They do have a free version and you can actually scale pretty far with that free version. So you don't have to upgrade anytime in the near future. And it's just one of the easiest. I will say I've operated with Monday.com. I think you're going to have someone internal to your business to be able to really, truly run that thing and optimize it to grow and scale into the future. I know Notion is up and coming. It has a lot of AI capabilities that are pretty interesting, honestly, overall. But again, you can actually use this format within Notion to start to set up your business to scale. But I think, again, that you're going to have someone internal to your organization to run it. So when you're starting off, I think Asana is just a really great place to get you kickstarted on your journey with an operating system that is going to allow you to grow, scale, and bring in new team members without a lot of complexity. And so, it's my job as the person that's helping you set up for that future version of yourself. One of the things that I need to do is to get everything out of your brain and in a place that your team can have access to it. But I also need to remove complexity from everything that you do, because in the beginning stages, we're just trying to find the thing that works and make sure that we are set up to grow without a lot of complications. So I'm going to walk you through today how to set up your Asana to start as you start to really build out your business and your company for that version that you want in the future. Then you're probably going to modify this in some way, but aspects of it should probably never change. It should stay the same even as you grow past $1 million and more, and into your $1 million plus destination. So let's hop on in and just go ahead and take a look at everything we have here. So the very first thing that you're going to see when you log in and you download and get access to this is, a definition of what the operating system is. This is a place for you to easily manage your projects. It is a place for your team to stay organized, for you to know who is doing what and when it's due, and if they're actually staying on task and getting things done in the way that they can. This gives you a place where you can actually see if people are sticking to their agreements, or if you need to step in and do a bit of micromanaging and coaching and helping them know what performance looks like. In addition, it is going to give you very clear places that you and your team can live. So what you're going to see in here, we're going to walk through the CEO headquarters. This is your central command center. This holds all of your vision, your strategic plans, your CEO rhythms. It's going to walk you through the 4 Ps and what you need to focus on right now. And it's going to help you to make better business decisions going forward. If it's applicable to you, there'll be an integrator headquarters. So for most of you, as you grow and scale, hopefully this is a place that I'm going to live as we work together in your business. This is where your strategic plans now become executionable. This is where I'm going to step in. I'm going to make sure that people are doing what they're supposed to do by the time that they're supposed to do it in, so that we can see through your vision for the future. You should also have a VA ops board. This is going to be one of your very first hires. And this is a place that they live, so that they know what it is that they're supposed to do within your business to get things off of your plate, to get things out of your head. So this is where all the support tasks live, your daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly tasks that they need to handle to keep it off of your plate and keep you focused on the things that are really going to move the business forward. We're going to walk through your client delivery and client service boards. These are based off those productized service tiers that you've already developed out. And there are 2 specific models that we're going to walk through in this document so that you can use it to set up in the form that works best for your business, where it is now and where you see it going in the future. You should have a marketing board or a marketing project set up, a client experience board or project, and then your finance and admin board or project. This can be something that you share with an outside source if they're handling your books, if there's things that you need them to have access to, or if your VA is actually handling this for you. This is a great place for them to also live, and then they can actually internally link it to their own boards as well. So you have it in 2 different places, and it's really well organized. So why does this work? So this is really that first step towards building a business that's really going to run smoothly, both now at the place you're at right now and into the future. That's going to help you to serve your clients exceptionally well. Make sure that you're not dropping balls, that not everything is not living in your head. It's going to give you a place to put all of that information. And it's going to make sure that your team also has access to it now and in the future as they grow, so that everybody knows what everybody is doing and when it's due, so that your team can operate like one cohesive unit to move you into the future. So in this document, you are going to find some basic instructions for setup. I'm going to break this down into 2 separate modules from here. And I'm going to highlight exactly the basic setup for your entire business. And then we're going to do client service different and separately, because I think that is an important piece to how you want your business to move forward. And it really should be kept separate from the rest of how you're setting up your basic operating system within your business. So the very first thing that you'll see here are some generalized SOP instructions. And yes, you should have an SOP for how your operating system is set up, and it should start from the early onset of your business. So copy this, delete this page, and then you're going to use this as your SOP. So you are going to put your business name up here, and you're going to enter the SOP owner's name. If that's you or your VA, that's going to go here. Approver is you as the CEO, unless you're at the point that you do have an integrator, and then that person can actually go in, review, and approve this and any future revisions to the SOP that might be made. Obviously, this is version 1.0. update the last date that is updated. So that would be when you finish this initial setup process within your business. That's going to be the date that goes there. And then the rest of this is pretty simple and it's there, but we always want to talk about outcomes. And this is the outcome we're trying to achieve. It is a complete environment aligned to your $1 million plus operating system. So when do you use this SOP? This is when you use this when you are setting this up. And it's a great place that if you have a VA, give this to them and let them set it up. And then you act as the approver, come in and review it after they have completed. But the first board that you or project that you want to set up is the CEO headquarters. This is where you live. When you log into Asana, or you're going to have a task list, you can look at that. But this is also the place that you live now when you're organizing and creating new projects. This is where they are going to go unless they are client service specific. So this is the very first thing that should be set up. And when you go in here, you will see each separate section within Asana should be labeled in this way. So you're going to have one section for your $1 million plus business plan, one for strategic planning, marketing and growth, the 4 Ps, so people, processes, performance, priorities, and one for CEO rhythms and weekly focus. Scroll down, and one for decisions, notes, and agendas. And then within those specific sections, you are going to have each of these tasks listed there. You will update the subtasks related to these tasks, not the tasks themselves. So this one will always stay there. Vision, 10x future, and lifestyle. It does not get assigned out to you with a due date. It's actually the subtasks within that task that will have a due date and a person assigned to it. So all of these are going to live there. This gives you a very clean and cohesive breakdown that you can now go in and view at any given time. You can click into the specific task, see the subtask related to it. And again, those are going to get completed both now and going forward into the future. The next role that you're going to see here is for the integrator. This is an optional thing that you're going to set up. This is only if you have someone performing this function within your business. So COO, integrator, operations manager. These are all used kind of interchangeably in the beginning startup phases of your business. So whatever that name is, you can change out this, integrator to COO headquarters or integrator to ops manager headquarters. You would set up this specific project or board for them, and then again, it's going to have the same look to it, where you have these sections here operating as the actual sections, and then these here are actually operating as the tasks, with the subtask being the things that are changing, on a monthly, quarterly, daily, even basis. You've got your VA ops board, super important. Theirs looks a little different in that they have daily, weekly, monthly tasks. So they're going to have a lot of things that are recurring. And for them, they're not going to have that same task breakdown with subtasks. They're just going to have a list of tasks that they're doing on a daily basis. And those are going to be recurring tasks that are set up within the section. So this might look like checking your email, cleaning out your inbox, something like that. So every time that they click it off that is done, it's just going to pop back up and due for the next day. So, and then you can easily log into their board and see if they have any past due items. Again, this becomes very important as you start to learn how to coach to performance and work by agreement. So, they're just going to look a little different. I think one thing I'm just going to scroll down, give you a little insight. One thing that's really important as you're starting to set this up and getting them more involved in your business is that as you are setting up annually and quarterly goals within your company, you're going to want to cascade parts of that down to them. They need to participate in you and the goals that you're trying, or they need to participate in your business as a key role, a key member of the team, because they really, really are. And they need to help you accomplish your goals. So this is what this particular section is for. And you would assign out parts of the quarterly goals to them to accomplish. And that's going to give them a sense of purpose, a sense of belonging to the company that you're building. And they're going to help you really propel your business forward with a lot more momentum than you could by yourself. So that is what this section is for. And it is so, so important as you move into the future. Content support, obviously, if they're helping you with your social content, this would be something that they would help. If they're helping with any type of client delivery support, you would actually put those tasks in the client projects and then just directly link them within here. And when you do that, you can set up the section that they actually belong to. And I'll show you this in just a little bit. And that would be how that actually gets added into their board so that they can help support you in client service delivery. And then admin and back office. That's what a lot of VAs do. So you have that section right here. So I want to just quickly walk through or go through over here, give you a quick overview. I think sometimes a visualization of what exactly it is that I'm talking about will really help. So in the CEO headquarters, as I explained, each of those bullet points is going to be a particular section, and then it is these tasks are always there and they don't change as you go forward. What does change when you come in, now you would have information here to include linking your $1 million plus business plan. All of that would be here. What changes are these subtasks? And then they get assigned out to, with a due date to whoever is responsible for doing it. So that is the part on here that changes, not the actual tasks. And this just keeps things really organized. So when you logged in, you can really see exactly what it is that you're working on. So then let's take a look really quickly at the VA ops board as I was discussing earlier. So again, you've got the same breakdown where each of the sections, you've got daily tasks. Now these would get assigned out with a due date, and then you just check it off. The due date would be recurring, so you would just check that off, or your VA would check it off as they are completed. The part I want to show you really quickly too is this client delivery support. Now you should have a section in here, and as your VA grows in responsibilities, they can help you with supporting your clients. And one of the things that I love about Asana is that you can go in and again sign out this task, and when you're in here, you can actually add it to other projects. So you'd be able to assign it out to your VA ops board, put it in their client delivery support section here. You would assign it to the VA, you would have a due date. And then when they go into their board, the VA ops board, then they're now going to see this project is here and that you've assigned it. And so they can actually live within here. They don't even have to get into your client service projects and get overwhelmed unless they're the ones setting them up, which I do highly recommend. But unless they don't have to go into each individual project to see if there's something that they need to do. It all lives in here, and they just check it off as they're complete. Now, as you grow and scale, if they're starting to help and take on and support, 50 or 100 clients, and yes, I have seen this as, with my previous role in the accounting firm, then you might want them to live in that particular client to make sure that everything's getting done and stays aligned and organized. But until that point, I think you can just have them linking it here. Now you can also always use the view of my tasks to see what it is that you have done. There's a board view, there's a list view, calendar view, and all of these actually exist in everything that you have. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. Like in my YouTube strategy board, I like to look at that in board view because I'm moving things just like I do in my CRM. And so the organization and how I view it, that looks a little bit different. But in my CEO headquarters board, I like it to look like this. And then I have additional columns over here with some other key indicators and filters that I can make use of in my own company. I'm not going to get into that in this beginning level entry setup. This is the point in time that you are just trying to get this set up internal to your business and learning how it operates. So we just want to stick to these main boards to begin with. Again, I'm not going to get into the client service delivery part of this because we will do that at a different time. I am going to move my head a little bit. YouTube strategy board, if this is applicable to your company, then this is something that you can set up. These would be the sections, but again, I like the board view in it because each section is going to be a column within the board view or a board within the board view, and I move them down the pipeline as we go through from idea to creating an outline to a script, filming, editing, scheduling them. I move it on down, and then I bring in my VA ops board when I'm ready for them to create the schedule or create the shorts, publish the shorts to my social media channels. I add them into the project. Social media calendar, that's actually very similar. I usually put that in board view, and these are the sections. I don't have a lot of additional ads here. Make sure you tailor this to what works within your business and the social media platforms that you are operating by. And then also I do use tags in my board, and so I will actually show you this. No client name, so I can actually show you what that looks like. So you can see here tags: produced video, Instagram, YouTube. So I add those tags to, gotta move my face again, all of my content as they go for the week. Just the post goes on LinkedIn, and who's being brought in and what other boards it goes on is all a part of how we operate here at Scale. You might do something a little bit different within your business as you decide what works for you. Client experience board. This is where, as you start to develop out your client experience strategy within your business, you are going to want to make use of these different sections. And again, those are things that should be linked into your CEO headquarters, maybe to your VA ops, to your integrator. They should be linked into other boards that other people have access to. But this is where you're going to track and identify that there are gaps in client experience that you're creating. There are improvements that you want to make. You've got ideas for automation. You can park those within there until they're ready to be developed. Issues with handoffs between maybe the sales team and onboarding, or onboarding and ongoing services. And then even additional renewal opportunities that you can look for in the future. And then finance and admin, this is your basic bookkeeping and financial piece for all of this. So invoice and payments, contractor payments, anything else that you might need to add in here if you have someone that is supporting you internally to your business in that finance and admin role. So this is where you start with your $1 million plus ops system set up on the back end. You get that free version of Asana and you start to set up these individual pieces to your business, and you make sure that you're starting to really get things organized. Again, get them out of your head. And as your business grows, this will develop out even further. Because client service is so integral to what we do, I mean, it's the entire reason that our business exists. I want to record this separately and give it a little more time and attention than just setting up the other boards. I think they can all kind of be lumped together. That's your general operations, where this is, the real bread and butter of your business. It is, I always say it, your client experience is your true differentiator. But you've got to also be able to set it up to scale. You cannot set up your business where every single thing that you do is customizable. If you do that, you're going to burn out, or you're going to limit your growth possibilities in the future. And so I'm going to walk through here exactly the ways that you can set up your client service delivery templates so that you or your VA or your CSM at some point in the future can easily duplicate each project every time a client signs, and then you can go in and customize parts of it. Now, when you set up your productized service tiers, parts of the engagement should be general to every single client within that tier or within that particular product. Those things are the items that you're going to set up as tasks. So specific touch points are the things that you're going to set up as tasks within your client service projects. And we're going to walk through those in just a moment. So the purpose of setting up these tiered service templates within your business is so that, again, you can easily duplicate and replicate it going forward so that you can grow and scale your business without you having to be in every aspect of what it is that you're doing. So the instructions here, the very first thing that you're going to do is pick which model is best for your business. There are two specific models for how you can set this up. One is service-driven delivery, and the purpose or the reason that this exists, this is ideal for productized businesses with clearly defined service tiers that don't operate on a weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, quarterly cadence with your clients. So the ones that operate on that time tier look a lot like accounting businesses, sometimes marketing businesses or social content creators. Other types of businesses are going to be a little more fluid in when the service delivery occurs, but the types of services that they perform for each tier do look the same. If that is you, that second part, this service-driven delivery tier, that or model is what is going to work best for you. So you want to use your client journey map to make sure that you're filling in the appropriate touch points and tasks that are going to be repeated for every single client that comes in. This creates consistency in your business. Your clients know what to expect. It helps you to build trust as you move forward. So you want to make sure that you're going to choose between these two appropriately. So what the setup looks like for this particular model is you would have a section for onboarding, ongoing delivery and workflow, a communication log, special project workflow, renewal and referral, or offboarding. So this is not broken down by daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, annual tasks, and then special projects, as you're going to see the timed ones are in just a minute. This is broken down by the particular stages of the client journey and particular touch points like the communication log that you need to maintain with your team. Now, the second model we're going to talk about, that is the time frame driven delivery model. So this is the one where, again, this is great for like accounting businesses, social media, content creators, where you have the onboarding phase, but then you've got stuff you've got to do daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and annually for your clients, and then special projects. And this is the primary leader for how you operate with your clients. Now, can you do a hybrid model of the two of these together? Absolutely. But make sure you're clear on what that looks like for you, and you're putting it in this SOP. So if you're going to do, have the daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, but then you also want to include some part of a communication log or renewal, referral, and offboarding in there, go for it. Like, you can 100% do that, but don't overly complicate it. So I do recommend choosing one of these as your primary driver for how you're going to set everything up, and then make sure whichever one that is, you delete the other one out of your SOP. And if you're going to make any modifications, make sure that you include those here. This is your SOP. Again, this is what is going to drive your team forward and have them take everything off of your plate. So now let's go and take a look at how you set this up and then what you do with it in the future. So the very first thing that you want to do, make sure you name it. You want to put your client name here, because as you can see, as you go down, you want that to be visible. Now, as this list starts to get pretty long, you're going to want to use this search bar to find particular client projects as you move forward. So, but you want to make sure, again, that first part, this is your client name. So you would just replace all of this with your client name. So maybe it's ABC client, let's call it that. Now, if you want to do it in all caps, you make that an internal SOP to your business. If you want to do it in like this, like you normally write, then you would make that internal SOP to your business. So you decide what it looks like, but you do want it to look consistent as you look down the list. So decide on which one works for you. The second part is if you have the tier 1 service or your product, you would put that name here. Obviously, your products should not be named tier 1 service. They should have a name that is part of your business. So most of mine go with the $1 million plus business plan of some kind. So you would name that here. And then for your template, the one that you're going to duplicate every time that you sign a client, I put this part on the end. Template. Do not delete or modify. No one on your team should be able to delete or modify this template without your permission or your integrator's permission. So nobody changes this template. This is the template going forward that you are, again, going to duplicate for every single client that comes in. Then you set up each of these sections, and you go ahead and set up the tasks now. You set them up as, a template you can duplicate that your VA can then assign out assignees and due dates, or you can even do it. But go ahead and write all of the tasks that you do in onboarding, all the touch points from your client journey map. You're going to do that in each of these sections here. One of the things that I do is I do customize, but I actually add a little section in here. And then I create a drop-down button where I can add the client name. And that way, when I'm in my CEO dashboard, I can see the client names from my CEO dashboard. And they're just in this column here. That saves you having to write any additional information in here. And so I do recommend doing that as well, making each of your clients a different color as much as you can, but putting their name or some abbreviation where it's that particular client. I recommend putting that in one of the columns here and having that drop down available for you to select. Now, on top of that, some additional things that I do, I put specific instructions within the description, because this is going to get duplicated over for every single client going forward. So anything that is related, so you have an onboarding task of getting information or key documents from your clients. So I would say, email within 2 days, 48 hours of contract signing. I might use this template, and then you can link the template within here, and keep those instructions that are for you or for your CSM or for your VA. I would keep all of those instructions within here. It makes it really easy when you have new team members onboarding. They'll have access to those instructions every single time that they perform the task, and they don't have to go anywhere else to figure it out. So they don't have to go into another SOP. I would have, I would have a master document somewhere with all of the instructions there, but they don't have to actually leave within here. Another thing I do for a lot of my clients is I actually have master tasks up top. So if we scroll back up, or we can add a task and then move it up here. But I have like the $1 million plus business plan. I will put this in here. And then I would just link the Google Doc directly in here, and that just lives in here. Again, this is just a place I can go. It's a central hub for this client, so it would live in here. I don't have to go anywhere else. If there's information that should not be shared with anybody on my team. Obviously, I would not link that in here if it's private and internal to work I'm doing that doesn't need access. So financial documents for some of my clients, I do assist with those. I don't link those in here. That's not something that can be shared with my team. So, use your discretion as far as that goes. But if it's, something general, you can even just link, your Google folder or your Dropbox folder directly within here and then limit access to the ones that your team shouldn't have access to. But again, just let your team, they just live here. They don't have to go anywhere else to find any other information. That wouldn't live in onboarding, by the way. That would live in a section up here entitled general or just up above like this. Now, when a new client signs, what you would do is you would go in here, you would click duplicate, and then you would just duplicate this project over. You would change out the name, you would delete all of this information out here, and then you would update it for that particular client. So after you have this set up, you don't have to do it again. And then once that is set up, your VA could just tag you in and say, hey, this is set up for this client. And now you can come in and make the modifications that you need to. If you have customizable parts of the project that you're performing with your client, then you can come in and make those modifications. And again, I recommend keeping those out of here unless they're going to happen on a recurring basis and putting that somewhere under special projects. So I very frequently have a lot of special projects with my integrator clients that goes down below. If there are parts of this that need to be linked to your CEO headquarters dashboard because it's something that is not, you can put it in a client service related part, or it's not related just to client service, but maybe there was some friction with a client and that's something that you really need to step in as CEO and get under control. Then I would put that in your CEO headquarters under your $1 million plus client experience. And that's something that you need to tackle right away. So the reason I wanted to separate this out again is it's an integral part of your business, both now and in the future. Like I said, your $1 million plus client experience, that is your key differentiator. And so setting this up, it's going to allow you to scale consistently. And it's going to give your team confidence that they know what they're supposed to be doing when they're supposed to be doing it. And it's going to help them support you in that client service delivery. You can't be the primary client service delivery person forever and ever and ever if you want to step into the role of CEO. Eventually, you have to bring in CSMs or you have to have support functions and support roles within your business. Doing it this way and setting it up allows them to start to integrate into your world and help you scale towards the future. So just going back and repeating what I said in the beginning, the first thing you need to do, pick which model works for you. Is it that service-driven delivery model? Is it the time-driven delivery model? Or is there a hybrid that's going to work that matches your client journey? The next piece, get out your client journey map and start there. Start with setting up your touch points as the tasks. Now, you know your client journeys better than anyone, and you know the tasks that happen for every single engagement that you have. So start to get those out of your head and start to create that template for what it's going to look like. I would create down here, I would modify these, and then I would create everything that you're putting in your project management software. I would put it into your SOP as well. Again, if you happen to lose access at any point in the future or something happens, that will live in here as your ongoing document in that, or as your living document. And then as you make modifications, you will have to make them in both places. But again, it allows for some continuity in your business should something happen or should you want to change platforms in the future. If you have questions about this, please don't hesitate to reach out. It is something, again, that's going to, it's going to expand and grow as you expand and grow, and things are going to start to change. You're going to realize what works and what doesn't. And it's absolutely okay to modify from this, but I have seen this work with literally dozens and dozens of businesses to date, and it always works the same and is a great kickoff place for now. And again, to get you to $1 million plus in the future. Hey, look, guys, setting up this $1 million plus business ops system now at this stage of your business, this is really your first step towards a business that can run smoothly, can serve your clients exceptionally, that can support the lifestyle that you want to maintain, and can help you step out of the role of technician and into the role of CEO so that you can build your business towards those $1 million plus destinations that you defined in your $1 million plus business plan. If you haven't defined your $1 million plus destinations or created that business plan, then please join me in my free school community and let's get that set up. better yet, if you want to fast track those results, you can join me in my 30-day sprint. We will go through everything in 30 days and make sure that you have a fully outlined business plan to go forward, including those productized service tiers. And we'll set up a 90-day strategy so that you can know exactly what you need out of this to put into your system and really propel you forward to get to where you want to go. If you want more content like this or need help, again, stepping out of that role of technician and into the role of CEO to build the business that you want in the future now, then subscribe to my channel. I release new videos just like this every single week, and you will have additional content to help support you as you continue to build your $1 million+ business.